Hey kiddos, welcome to this week's homework where we are looking at writing and graphing our inequalities. Our first page is just making sure that we are familiar with our symbols and the way that we need to use our circles. So if we are talking about less than, if something is less than another, it's going to look like that. And our circle is going to be open because it is not going to be included. At least, if I say at least, I am going to have a bar underneath it because at least would mean that it is equal to, that is going to be filled in for our circle. If we're talking about something is more than, if we said E is more than 4, it's going to look like this, and our circle will be open because it is not including that, it is just including the numbers that it would be more than. Over here, greater than, if I said E is greater than, it would look like that. Again, our circle would be open because it is not including a specific number. That circle is only filled in if we also have the or equal to component, which we do not have in this question. At most, if we were saying that something was at most, we would have our least, our bar, and we would have it filled in. At most is where we're going to have that or equal to as well. And no more than, we would have our less than sign, our bar, our circle, and it would be filled in. If you have any questions on these, please bring them with you to class. All right, Nuggets, it's trying to graph our inequalities. Remember that our inequality sign is the key to our arrow. Make sure that it is pointing in the right direction. So if I have X is less than 6, I'm going to go to 6. I'm going to draw my circle. It's going to stay open because it's not or equal to, and I'm going to follow my arrow. X is less than 6. X is less than or equal to 7. I find my 7, I fill in my circle, and my arrow follows my inequality sign. X is greater than 8. I find my 8, I leave it open, and my arrow follows my inequality sign. X is greater than or equal to 9. 9, fill it in, and my arrow, it's short, it's right at the end. Down here, X is less than 10. If I'm my 10, I leave it open because it's not or equals to, and my arrow follows along. X is greater than or equal to 7. I go to the 7. I fill in my circle, and my arrow follows my inequality. Any questions on these, kiddos? Bring them with you to class. All right, next page, we are writing the inequality based on our picture. So here we're going to put our X, and we're going to have a -1. Our arrow is going to the right, so we would say X is greater than -1. Since our circle is filled in, we need that or equals to sign as well. Up here, we're dealing with X and -2. My circle is not filled in, and my arrow is going to the left. So X is less than -2. This one I have X and 4, my circle is open, so no or equal to. X is greater than 4. Remember, our inequality is the same as our arrow. Over here I have X, I have -1. It's going to be an or equals to because my dot is filled in, and my arrow is going this way. X is less than or equal to -1. Down here, I have my X. I have an open arrow. My arrow is going to the right, and I'm looking at 3. X is greater than 3. I have an X, a 0. It's open, so there's no or equals to. X is less than 0. Any questions on these? Bring them with you to class. All right, this time we are writing the inequality based on the scenario. So it says that Sydney wants to knit a blanket and needs to use more than 8 balls of yarn. So Sydney's, the amount she uses, has to be greater than 8. So Sydney uses more than 8. Javier needs to read at least 3 books a week this semester for his honors language arts class. So Javier needs to read at least 3 or more. So the amount has to be greater than or equal to 3. 3 is the least amount he can do. Connor at most needs 45 cedar posts to fence in a new area for his goats. So Connor needs to have at least 45, but it should be greater than 45. So Connor needs greater than or equal to 45. Carly picked less than 20 apples. So Carly, 20 apples. She picked less than 20. Carly picked less than 20 apples. Terry is building a tower with at least 16 blocks. So his tower has to have at least 16 blocks, but it should be more. Tower is greater than or equal to 16. Last one. Rhonda is driving more than 75 miles per hour. So 75, it's got to be more than that. Rhonda is a speedster. Rhonda is driving greater than 75 miles per hour. Any questions on these? Bring them with you to class. All right, Nuggets, we are continuing to write, but this time we have to graph as well. So it says that Roger, my friend Roger, is writing a paper that needs to be at least 5 paragraphs. So Roger's needs to be at least 5 paragraphs, hopefully more. So if we come down here, I'm just going to put 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. I find my 5, I fill it in. My arrow goes that way. Alexis wants to have more than 56 likes on her newest picture of her puppy. So she wants to have more. She wants to have more. So if we're doing it here, let's do 50, 55, 60, 65. So we're going to say 56 is right here. And our arrow is going that way. It's open because it's not or equals to. Kevin kicks less than 25 soccer balls at practice. So if we come down here, our arrow is going to go this way. So let's do 20, 25, 30. I'm going to go to 25, open arrow going that way. David brings at most 31 cups to the party. Since they said at most, that's going to be an equal sign. So the biggest number is going to be 31. Anything that is less than 31 is going that way. So if we put our 31 here, I'm going to open my circle and I'm going to draw it this way, fill it in. Oh, I think we're having some power problems. Can you reconnect, please? We're kind of in the middle of something. There we go. Sorry, we're having a lot of wind in Pennsylvania at the moment. Sorry, kiddos. Hopefully this is coming through okay. Sheila is going to meditate for at least 42 minutes, probably more. So we're going to put our 42 here, arrow going to the right, filled in, because we have our or equals to. And then Carter opened a box that has no more than 63 raisins in it. The most it could have is 63. So we'll put our 63, fill in our 0 or our dot because it has the or equals to, and our arrow is going to the right. All right, kiddos, any questions? Bring them with you to class. Have a good weekend.